Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? I hope you're all well. Now, before we kick off with this session, if anybody's having any sort of technical challenges in viewing this live stream at all, what I highly recommend is to go through usual kind of, troubleshooting that we all tend to go through, something that doesn't work for us first time around, especially online. So if you are tuned in on a desktop or a laptop computer, feel free to hit the refresh button on your web browser page. Alternatively, if you are tuning in on a mobile device, feel free to come out of the YouTube app and then click back on the YouTube link that you received for this session, and hopefully everything should be loading up for you correctly. Feel free to also grab yourself some pen and some paper, just so you can kind of jot down notes as we go along. I always find it really kind of useful just to have a pen and paper on hand, just to kind of jot down anything that you may wish to kind of revisit a little bit later on after the session has concluded. So feel free to do that as well. Also, feel free to turn on live captioning, because live captioning is available for this live stream. So if you wish to do that, feel free to hover over onto this YouTube video, and then you'll see the letter CC inside of a small square box. That is the icon for you to toggle on and or off the live captioning throughout the course of this session. So I hope everyone's geared up and ready. So welcome to this Google Digital Garage session, all about how to get your business visible on Google. My name is Rikesh, and I'm going to be your presenter, taking you through the course of this session, which is going to last for approximately 60 minutes. So I'll kick off first with just a little bit about me. So I'm a trainer for Google's digital skills program, Google Digital Garage. As well as that, I'm also a digital marketer. So I work with businesses, help them to create and to grow their online presence in order to attract more customers and clients, respectively, to their business offering. Now, a large part of that does involve increasing kind of their footprint and their visibility on Google. And that is kind of the theme of what we are going to be covering in today's session. So that's just a little bit about me. I'd also like to introduce to you at this stage my colleague and fellow Google Digital Garage trainer, and that is Tessa. Now, Tessa is going to be our wonderful chat moderator today. So you might have noticed already on the right-hand side, somewhere on your YouTube screen, that there is a live chat box. That is your space over the course of this next hour to drop in your comments, drop in your questions. You'll also see questions that I'll be kind of posing to you on the screen, and we'll be going through an activity very shortly as well. So be sure to kind of have your smartphone ready for that as well. But feel free to kind of provide your thoughts, provide your answers, because we all kind of come at, marketing from different aspects and different angles. And we all kind of work within, or we kind of are based within different industries as well. So we might have different customers or consumers in general that we are looking to kind of impress and grab their attention in general as well. So feel free to kind of share your thoughts as we go along in the live chat. In order to type away in the live chat, you will simply just need to sign into your YouTube account, and then you are off and away and able to type away. So we've already got the likes of Monica, who's already kind of introduced themselves, tuning in from Kerala in India. So it's great to see that we've got kind of an international audience. So myself and Tessa are based in the UK, but I guess the power and beauty of YouTube is that we are able to kind of get in front of people who are tuning in from different parts of the world as well. So this session that we are running on Get Your Business Visible on Google is one of many sessions that we actually run as part of a wider Google Digital Garage offering. So if you actually have a look either at the link down below where I'm pointing in the video description box, but I'm sure that Tessa will kindly be able to drop a link as well, where you're able to sign up for more online live interactive kind of training sessions just like these on a variety of predominantly digital marketing related topics. And feel free to kind of sign up to them, and all you've got to do is then tune in on the right day at the right time using the YouTube link that you will receive. So that's the fantastic resource that is available for you to utilize at no charge. Another resource that you're able to utilize at no charge is the ability to complete some online courses, which are also part of the Google Digital Garage online offering. So with these online courses, they aim to kind of supplement the learnings that you do on these types of kind of live training sessions, but kind of take things a little bit further. But these online courses can be taken in your own time and at your own pace, and they're available for you to complete at no charge. Now, there is a course in particular on the website that you'll find, which is called the Fundamentals of Digital Marketing, which is a course that, as well as giving that kind of holistic overview as how people kind of push and promote their products and or service offerings in the online space. At the end of that course, as well as gaining knowledge, you will actually also receive a certificate at no charge from Google, recognizing that you've completed that course as well. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that that particular course is actually ran in line and kind of supported with by the likes of the Open University as well. So be sure to check out all those kind of resources when you do get a moment. But let's actually have a look at what we are covering in this session, which is all about how to get your business visible on Google. So the kind of the three-stage approach that we're going to be taking throughout this session is, first of all, going to be understanding how customers find our business online. And it's very deliberate that we are kicking off with this, because once we know how customers find us, we can refine that process and make it as streamlined as possible, because that kind of opens up kind of the road and the path for people to hopefully buy from you in the future. Once we know how they find us, we can kind of make that process of them kind of finding us much quicker and much more easier as well. Once we've done that, we're then going to be looking at how we can build out our presence. So we're going to be looking at where we can be seen, where we can have our footprint on across on Google. And this applies not only on Google search, but also on Google Maps. And then kind of an extension of that, to kind of round up to round out this session, is we're going to be looking at how we can showcase our products across Google as well. So again, increasing our footprint and visibility on Google, in line with kind of the title of today's session. Now, before we kind of get going, I'd love to kind of kick off with a question for you. So feel free to kind of drop your answers in the chat for this question, which you can see here on screen, which is, how do you currently reach customers online? Feel free to also rephrase this question to mean, how do you currently reach your clients online? It depends on what you kind of call them, but how do they how do you kind of reach them currently online? Let me know, and let Tessa know in the chat your thoughts and answers, because we all have kind of different approaches. We all have maybe different digital marketing strategies at play. You know, some of you might be reaching your customers via things like email newsletters. Some of you might be reaching your customers via various social media channels as well. Some of you might be reaching your customers online through other means, perhaps through kind of advertising in different kind of shapes and form as well. It could well be it could be videos here on YouTube that you might be kind of reaching people as well. So just picking up on a comment here from Monica, who's mentioned in the chat, I usually approach them on LinkedIn or using word of mouth. Yeah, and that's kind of, you know, I know kind of the question says, how do you reach your customers online? Because obviously we're focusing on the online aspect, but word of mouth is also something that is crucial and very important. It's the reason why I go to networking events, in-person events, because it's great, because there's at times it's great to kind of connect and develop connections with people online, but then we can actually strengthen them by actually having kind of that in-person conversation as well. So I think that's very, very important to kind of note there as well. So thank you very much for that contribution there, Monica. If there are any kind of other kind of answers that you may have in terms of how you currently reach your customers online, feel free to kind of share them in the chat, and myself and or Tessa rather will be able to kind of pick up on them as we go along. So let's have a look at kind of understanding how customers find our business first and foremost. So let's have a look at some kind of stats and facts here. So how do customers use search engines to look for businesses and products in general as well? So you can see that in the UK alone. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, both myself and Tessa are based in the UK. Hence, I guess, why we've got this statistic here on screen, which is that 80% of the UK's population regularly shop online, which is a large number. And it's actually been estimated that that figure will actually increase and rise to 90% by the year 2025. So it's a place to be seen. It's a place for us to have a visibility. And you can see here that 70% of consumers use search results to visit a physical store. So it's very much kind of a primary and kind of predominant kind of touch point for consumers to go to a search engine and look for a business and their by typing in their business name, for instance, when they are looking for businesses, especially you can see here businesses that actually have a physical store to them to their organization as well. And you can see here that 62% of consumers use Google to compare products from different retailers, and that may kind of go in line with the likes of Google Shopping become such a force, and kind of more and more of us consumers are specifically kind of comparing, doing our due diligence and research when it comes to kind of certain products that we are looking to kind of buy online before we go ahead and purchase in general as well. So that's just kind of some stats and facts just to kind of keep in mind as we kind of go throughout the course of this session. Because something I just mentioned with that kind of last statistic that you can see here on screen of the 62% of consumers use Google to compare products from different retailers, because we've become more shrewd as consumers. We become more kind of intelligent as consumers, whereby we will make various kind of decisions based off various kind of factors that are at play. So with that in mind, I want to actually explain this in a little bit more detail when we talk about something known as a customer online purchase journey. So you can see here, we've got this kind of diagram here on screen, and I'll just kind of annotate a few bits here. So we've got, first of all, your trigger. So as a customer, potential consumer, you have kind of a trigger, which is right. There's a reason why you want to do something. There's a reason why you're looking or in the market to buy a product. The trigger is my kettle's just broken. I'm in the market to get a new kettle. That's your trigger. So then you get to kind of this bit where we've kind of exaggerated kind of how it all fully looks here. But this is essentially kind of the messy middle. So you've got all these different factors, but at the end point, before I kind of go back and revisit the kind of the messy middle part, you've got the end point here with this other kind of squiggly circle at the bottom, which is the purchase point. So from your trigger, you've got you go right towards the other end, which is the purchase point as well, where somebody buys from you or buys from a company in general. And you've got this messy middles, and there's different factors at play, because we might search for best kettle for boiling hard water. So if you live in an area which is known for kind of having harder water, what's the best kettle for that? You might kind of use those kind of modifying factors there as well. You might have a look at reviews. I know many of us do have a look at reviews to kind of see what other people have kind of experience with that particular product. And that could be an influencing factor in you going down to that purchase, or you just staying in the messy middle area, maybe looking at another product perhaps as well. You might potentially also look at kind of deals, or are there any kind of special promotions going on as well? So there's all these different factors at play in general. So that's something to kind of be aware of. Now, if I kind of simplify this diagram with this other diagram that you can see here on the right-hand side of this screen. So we've got the kind of the dotted circle around the whole of the diagram, which is exposure. So this is being exposed to potentially buying a particular product, but then you still have that trigger. So, the kettle being broken, and then you've got your end point, which is your purchase, and then you've got the experience, which is the customer experience, or kind of the customer service experience in general as well. But we've kind of just condensed and consolidated this messy middle area into kind of these two words, which is exploration. So exploration is where you do your research, you find out which are the best kettles on the market within my specific budget range as well. So have a look at all the kettles that are out there. So you want to kind of maybe open up, or people may open up all their options, see all the options that are at play for them to go ahead and buy this kettle, but then they'll evaluate. So then they'll kind of consolidate all this research down, so that they maybe narrow it down to maybe one or two kettles. And then off the back of that, then they go ahead and make a purchase. Now, there are different factors at play that will get us from the messy middle part, from this exploration evaluation part, to kind of the purchase stage. And it's different for everyone. But let's have a look at kind of some of the common types of things that people look for in this kind of messy middle part in general as well. So we've got power of now. So that's something which people, especially when it comes to products, and also it also applies to this kind of service. a lot of people kind of are searching for. If you think about kind of the phrase "open now," so um, pizza restaurant near me, open now. That's what people tend to type in at times as well when they're looking for certain businesses. Are they open now? Open 24/7. So power of now can be an influencing factor to kind of for people and potential customers to kind of navigate from the messy middle to purchase. Same again with the likes of social proof. We spoke about kind of reviews. That can be kind of an influencing factor. Scarcity bias as well, whereby there's only kind of a limited number of stock of a particular product, and that is diminishing or it's decreasing, or scarcity bias from the point of you have sales. So it might be kind of end of the summer sale, for example, or you've got a sale for the month of October. For you've got Halloween sales going on as well, but it's only for that month. That's kind of scarcity bias, whereby you're letting the consumer know that there's only a set period of time for them to actually take advantage of special offers and promotions as well. Authority bias as well, that can be an influencing factor. So there can be kind of experts or kind of expert organizations that might kind of review a product that you might have kind of brought out, and that might be something which can influence someone from being in a messy middle to go ahead and purchasing perhaps as well. And this can also kind of feed into the likes of kind of influencers as well, where they might kind of have a partnership with an organization. Then if that influencer really genuinely likes that product, they can recommend it to their kind of community that they've built and developed on places like social media, and that can kind of have that kind of authority bias for maybe somebody making the jump from being on the fence about buying this product to actually going ahead and buying it as well. And then you've also got the power of free. So you might kind of notice with certain products whereby if you make a purchase, you'll get a free gift, or you get a free this or free that as well. I noticed this kind of come into fruition and into play, especially with the likes of kind of aftershaves or perfumes. So if you go to a if you go to kind of one of those kind of physical stores, or even online, they do have these promotions. They might be like, right, buy this aftershave and you'll get this weekender bag for free, or something like that, or this toiletries bag for free by actually buying the fragrance itself. So that's something to be aware of, and kind of can be an influencing factor as well. But that's kind of just a handful of all the other different influencing factors that can be at play. So how do we kind of help customers in general? So as well as kind of being aware of those factors, we can help customers get out the messy middle by ensuring that we've got a brand presence. And this takes time to develop. This can be not only through having a website, but also having social media. Also think about the likes of email marketing and just kind of different digital marketing approaches to build out our presence. So if somebody kind of stumbles across and sees your product offering, they might think, oh, I've seen them before, I've heard about them, or I know what they do, I know what their values are as an organization. Then consumers and customers are more likely to buy from you if there's a sense of familiarity. It's not always the case, but if you have a brand presence kind of established, that is something that can be an influencing kind of swaying factor as well. And that kind of feeds into kind of the different approaches of closing that gap between the trigger and purchase, because a lot of the times, in order to close the gap between that trigger point of somebody thinking, oh, I need to buy something, and somebody actually going ahead and buying it and purchasing it, is typically different pieces of content and being there at different touch points when people are looking for your particular product and or service offering as well. So content can be a big factor in regards to that as well, and that'll obviously depend upon which industry you're in, depending on kind of competitors and what sort of content they're putting out, and what is kind of relevant to your ideal type of customer as well. And also we want to make it easy to make a decision and buy as well. So that is something that we want to kind of do. So we want to kind of make that process as seamless as possible. If someone's decided, right, let me kind of make sure that that person goes straight to the link for the product page on my website, and they can go ahead and actually buy it there as well. So we want to kind of help our customers get out that messy middle. So we want to be proactive with this approach in general as well. Now, we spoke earlier on about kind of how search and search engines are rather important. especially with those kind of statistics that 70% of us, of consumers in general. I say us because we're all kind of consumers, especially the vast majority of us do shop online in general. So at least 70% of consumers are using search results when they're looking for physical store businesses. Um, but in general, you can see, and as we saw earlier on, actually, with the statistic that over 60% of individuals are looking at Google when they're kind of um, comparing products with different retailers as well. So search is very, very important from that aspect because maybe years ago, before I guess kind of the whole world of kind of online and being on the web in general. Was a case of, from a business point of view, if you build it, they will come. But nowadays, being online, because there's so many kind of competing businesses and different industries around, and everybody's vying for your attention as a consumer, it's more a case of being found. It's more a case of kind of being proactive in general as well. So with that in mind, I want to kind of do a bit of an exercise here. So feel free just to kind of take out your smartphones, and I want you to get into a mindset that you're going to be having pizza this evening. I say this evening because it's the morning here in the UK, but I know some of you are kind of tuning from kind of different parts of the world, the likes of India and the likes of Saudi Arabia as well. So whatever time it is, maybe just think, oh, I'm going to be having maybe pizza tomorrow instead, if it's a little bit later in the day for you. But just kind of hypothetically, I want you to kind of jump onto Google and type in pizza near me. I mean, you can even use the voice feature to just kind of speak that out as well. Either type in pizza near me or whatever phrase that you want to use. It might be pizza near me. It might be gluten-free pizza near me. It might be vegan pizza near me. It could be kind of specific and related to where you live. So it could be pizza in London, for example, as well. Now, once you've done that, you'll see a list of results. You'll see all these different kind of these different business profiles that will appear, and you'll see that they are business profiles because they have things such as photos, they have star ratings as well. There's all this kind of information that you'll see there in general. So when you have a look at that list, just think hypothetically, if I was going to be going out for dinner today, then which of those restaurants would I select? So just kind of mentally select that. And then what I'd like for you to do is just reflect on these two questions here on screen. So how did you search for that product or service online? So feel free to kind of let me know your answers to these questions in the live chat. So how did you search for that? How did you search for pizza? Did you type in pizza restaurant near me? Did you type in pizza restaurant in London? Or were you going more specific in relation to a dietary requirement, perhaps as well, like gluten-free pizza near me? But also think about your deciding factors. So I don't want to kind of know the pizza place that you would have selected, but I want to kind of understand what are some of the factors that helped you decide which of those businesses, those business profiles that you would have clicked onto and maybe placed a table reservation at perhaps as well, because there's different factors at play. Because we're all drawn to different things. So for me, I'm drawn very much to images. So if I see a photo that's really kind of capturing, and I think, oh, that pizza photo looks very kind of salivating in general, and then I'll kind of look at maybe the reviews. If there's a lot of reviews on there, and they're kind of in kind of the 5-star range, is it a case of that pizza restaurant isn't too far from where I'm based as well? That can be very much an influencing factor. It might be kind of that pizza restaurant is open later, so that I might think, oh yeah, that should be great because I might eat a little bit later in the evenings perhaps as well. So let me know in the chat what your kind of thoughts are with that. I think it's important just for us to kind of sometimes just share what influences what kind of comes into our thinking as consumers ourselves, because our customers and consumers are actually doing the same exact thing as well. So that's kind of something to be aware of. So let me know as we go along in the chat, and Tessa will be kind of picking up on some of your answers there as well. So in terms of kind of what we type in, pizza near me, whatever it might be, we've got kind of the topic. So the topic probably would be what the user is interested in, what the customer is interested in, which would be pizza. So, or that could be sustainability, or it could be dresses, it could be restaurants, it could be cars. But then what we also had was what's known as a modifier, which is what people actually want to know about that topic. So that is the likes of near me. That could be how to, cheap, best, used as well, because we can be more specific. As time has actually progressed and as time has actually gone through, we've been more specific. We've been more. We're able to kind of throw more things at search engines, kind of in more human language over time as well. Just kind of picking up on a comment here from Monica, who's mentioned, I check things while ordering any food, like time taken to deliver. Yeah, that's something that they can mention in their business profile. If your favorite pizza is available, kind of reviews, catchy pictures as well. Yeah, absolutely. So there's different kind of factors that come into play as well, and that also kind of aligns with kind of the words that people are typing in, which actually bring up these business profiles as well, because our search behaviors have changed over a period of time. So 2016 would be a bit more very kind of generic, so the likes of dresses, whereas 2019 were a bit more specific, so wedding guest dresses or wedding dress London. And now kind of just as you know of the last kind of year 2022, wedding guest outfits for over 50s, or floaty dress for wedding guests as well. So we can be more specific these days as well. So how do we actually know what type of words and phrases people are actually using in regards to our own products and service offering in general? Well, there's a tool that can help us out with that, and that is a tool called Google Trends. You can see the link to that is in that little red bubble, which is g.co/Google Trends. So if I kind of just briefly show you what Google Trends looks like. So you'll see a page a little bit like this. Of Google Trends. So if we kind of type in what we're looking for, so let's say I am looking for electrician near me, and I click explore, I'll actually see the results kind of in the UK. So you can see here, United Kingdom. You can change that to other countries, which we'll do in just a moment, but this just says what's the interest over the past day. I can actually do this over the past 90 days. Electrician has been kind of up and down, so you can see kind of the interest of people typing in for electrician near me. I can do for the past 12 months. I can type in 24-hour electrician and kind of compare another search term and see what the interest over time of that one is, which isn't great. I can also see what is the interest by kind of region in the UK. You can do it by city as well if you wish to. Similarly, with the other comparable kind of search term, you can add another comparison in there if you wish to as well. And then you can also change this for your own country as well. So if we have a look at the likes of Australia. So, for example, and I was just kind of picking Australia because Australia is another predominantly English first speaking country. So Australia, I can see, right, okay, so this is kind of the interest over time in Australia. Again, you've got kind of the regions within Australia, what is kind of grabbing the most attention. And then you can actually see what other kind of related queries are people typing in as well in that regards. We can actually see kind of some of the other kind of phrases that people are using. So it's a really fantastic and useful tool. So feel free to kind of check it out and use it and actually just kind of see what you can sort of find for your own business in terms of the results that you see on Google Trends there as well. So another place to also check out is the Google Ads Insights section. So if you run Google Ads, you can actually find out and check the performance and see what kind of phrases and words people are searching for. And this is more so important than ever when it comes to running adverts, because you want to make sure that you're getting a return on your advertising budget and your investment that you're putting in general as well. So be sure to kind of check out and have a look at Google Ads Insights as well. Okay, so let's have a look at kind of building out our presence on Google Search and Maps. So where can we be found on Google? Well, there's four kind of main places. You've got organic search, paid search, Google Business Profile, and Google Shopping. So let's actually have a look first and foremost at a Google search engine results page. So we've got a search query where we type in what's known as a keyword. So keyword means either a singular word or multiple words in terms of kind of a sentence. So it could be bakery in Birmingham. It could be vegan bakery in Birmingham. It could be where is the best bakery to eat croissants in Birmingham as a question. That is a keyword as well. Whatever that is all typed into the search query box. We've then got kind of the adverts, and these are kind of text-based adverts that you'll see. You'll see in just a moment or so kind of the shopping-based adverts that will appear within the results. Obviously, if it's applicable to what somebody is searching for in general in the search query box. We've also got our Google Business Profiles. And I'm sure many of you were kind of looking at them a few moments ago when we did that activity about kind of having a look at kind of pizza restaurants as well. So it's got all kind of useful information there. And then we've got organic search result, which I'll come on to in just a moment, about how to kind of build out a visibility there. So this is by very virtue of us having a business website, we will appear within the Google search results. And then this is kind of what the shopping results look like. So you've got the sponsored. So these are kind of paid shopping. And then you've also got kind of organic shopping results as well that can be found at no charge just by being on the shopping tab, as on the Google shopping tab as well. So we looked just a second ago at the organic search results section, which is your website listing being found at no charge just by very virtue of you having a website set up. Now, what we want to do essentially is we want to ensure that we have kind of full visibility. So ideally that website search result appears ideally on the first page of results or just after the adverts have appeared. Now, how do we do that? Well, we do that through a process which is known as search engine optimization. Search engine optimization, you can see here, by definition, is the practice of increasing the quantity and quality of traffic to your website through organic search engine results. So what this essentially means is you are looking to improve that one variable, which is your website, in multiple different ways, which we'll explore in just a moment, in order for you to increase the number of people visiting your website, but not just the number, but increasing the number of people visiting your website. But these are the quality of those visitors. We want more people who are going to be actually interested in what we have got to sell, because it's all good and well getting loads of people to your website, but there's no point if people aren't buying, right? So we want to get more of the people that are going to be more interested in our business offering to our website in general as well. Now, to monitor our progress of how well, as we make improvements to our website, how well we're doing in terms of, are we going up in kind of the Google search results page rankings, we can actually use a tool called Google Search Console. You can see the link at the bottom of the screen here. I'm sure that Tessa will kind of drop it in the chat for you. This is a fantastic tool that is available at no charge, Google Search Console, and it allows you to see your average page position. So as you are making improvements, hopefully that figure kind of gets lower and lower, and eventually you get your average page position is maybe 1 or 2. So you're very kind of close there as well. But you can also see some of the keywords that actually bring up your web pages, which can give you food for thought to think, oh, maybe I can make some alterations or tweaks to my web pages because I don't want to be found for certain queries, perhaps as well. So there's a lot of information that can be gathered from Google Search Console for you to check out in general as well. Now, in terms of this search engine optimization kind of requirements, there's technical requirements and there's kind of spam policies to be aware of. So when it comes to technical requirements, we want to kind of answer these 3 questions about our website. Can our site be found by Google, first and foremost? Are my web pages all working? So are they all linking to each other? Are they all kind of fully operational? And when Google comes across onto my website, can they understand what my website is about? Can they understand what my product pages are about, for instance, as well? That's what we really want to kind of answer there. And then we've also got kind of spam policies. So these are kind of behaviors and tactics that we want to be aware of, because these are behaviors and tactics which can lead to a web page or an entire website being ranked lower in the average page rankings on the search results, or from pages being completely removed from kind of Google search. So we're not going to be there if we kind of fall foul of some of these kind of spam policies. So you can see examples here include keyboard stuffing. So this is where within your web page content, you're constantly, every other word, you're typing in your keyword, what you want to be found for. And that, again, doesn't go in line with the technical requirement, because Google then isn't able to understand what our content's about, because it doesn't even make sense to a human. So how would it make sense to Google as well? So that's something which can sort of which is something to obviously be avoided as well as the likes of cyber threats and plagiarizing, such as the likes of kind of copying content as well. But there's more information that you can find about kind of spam policies, and I'm sure that Tessa will kind of drop a link to that in the chat for you as well. So some best practices when it comes to search engine optimization. You can see kind of 7 here on screen. So create helpful, reliable, people first content. That is going to be, as I mentioned, that is kind of the fundamental of getting that person from trigger to purchase. And kind of getting them to hopefully navigate that messy middle as quickly as possible. Use relevant keywords from search trends, and that's where we can use the likes of Google Trends to our advantage that we saw earlier on. We want to make sure that our links on our website are crawlable. So what I mean by crawlable is that they fully work. So if one link on your website links to another web page, you want to make sure that all works as well. So it's fully functional. In general, we want to tell people about our website, and that kind of it goes in line with that actually goes in line with that question that I asked earlier on about how do you currently connect with your customers online? How do you reach them? And I know kind of the likes of kind of Monica mentioned, kind of approach them on LinkedIn, word of mouth, and then also Chidibe mentioned through social media as well. So there's different kind of ways of telling people about your business. And then once people know about your business, you've got that one focal point, which is your website, which can be kind of that congregation kind of point for your consumers as well. Also, you can see here, follow best practices for things such as videos and images, structured data and JavaScript. So if you want to kind of learn a little bit more about that, Tessa will kind of be able to drop in kind of links for kind of best practices for kind of images, videos, structured data and JavaScript as well. So that's something to kind of look into so that our website is as fully optimized as possible, especially because when it comes to search engine optimization and specifically with Google, there's over 200 different signals and factors that Google looks at in order to determine whether one website listing appears above another in their search results. Now with Google, ever since kind of they kind of started out as an organization, so 25 years, they have been always having that. They always have that main kind of goal of making sure that whatever search results that appear on the results page, they are relevant to what somebody is typing into that search query box. So we always want to keep that in our mind in general as well in that respect. But yeah, there's over 200 kind of factors. So all we can essentially do is kind of go through some of the best practices in terms of making sure that our website is as optimized as possible as well. You can also see we can enhance how our website appears on kind of Google search. So thinking about kind of what sort of link is visible, what sort of kind of brief description of our website is on there as well, on our web pages perhaps. And also we can control how our content appears within Google search as well. Now, another factor to bear in mind with search engine optimization is making sure that our websites are snappy and that they are loading quickly as well. So with that in mind, I want to introduce you to another tool that is available for you to use at no charge, and that is PageSpeed Insights. So feel free to do this now if you wish to do so, and you have the capability to do so. Feel free to kind of navigate to pagespeed.web.dev, and I'm sure that Tess will kind of drop this link in the chat. Type in your business's website address into PageSpeed Insights, hit the enter key, and then once it's done its analysis, just kind of look at some of the tips and recommendations it makes in terms of what improvements you can make in order for it to kind of be a little bit more kind of quicker and snappier as a website as well. And feel free to kind of, if there's certain kind of action points that that kind of caught your eye with those results, feel free to kind of share them in the chat as we go along, because it's very important that our websites are quick. Just think about your own behaviors. I know I'm very nowadays I'm very kind of impatient. If a website's taking more than a few seconds to load, I'll just hit that refresh button, hoping that it'll kind of load up straight away in just a second. If not, I'll just think, right, let me go back and click on another business's site because that's actually more responsive. And this also applies very much so on mobile. because we very much live in a mobile first world, because that is our primary device these days. So we want to make sure that our website, not only that it's running quickly, and the pages are all running in a very timely manner, but that also that our website in general is mobile friendly as well. So that's kind of just a few considerations with search engine optimization. That's kind of organic search, which is our website listing. That all applies to that, and that's kind of the first place which we can have kind of visibility and a footprint on Google. Now the next place is through advertising. So you can see this is known as search engine marketing, or SEM for short. It seems like the world of marketing loves a good acronym. So you've got SEM, you've got search engine optimization, SEO as well. But you can see search engine marketing is using paid advertising to ensure that businesses, products, and or services are visible in the search engine results pages. So where can they typically appear? There's kind of typically 4 text-based slots, which are towards the top or just after the search query box, that are kind of the first actual results that you'll see on the results page. But then you've also got 3 that will be towards the bottom of the search results page as well. Then you've also got shopping-based results as well, and we'll speak about kind of Google Shopping a little bit later as well. So that's where we can kind of be found with adverts, with search adverts on Google. And in terms of setting up a search advert on Google, you can create a search campaign on the platform called Google Ads. So once you've got an account set up, you can go ahead and create your campaign. You set yourself a goal. What are you looking to achieve? What are you looking to get out of running this advertising campaign for a search advert here? And it's very important to be very specific and descriptive about that. What are you looking to get out of this? Especially, as I mentioned earlier on, with any types of advertising, there's money at stake. So we want to make sure that we are getting a return on our investment in general as well. And then once we've done that, we can go ahead and it kind of works a little bit like an auction, where we kind of bid on keywords that we want our advert to then show up for. So pizza in London, or gluten-free pizza London, or vegan pizza London. We can kind of bid on those kind of words, and if we're one of the kind of the higher bidders, then we might kind of appear within those kind of first 4 text-based ad slots on the Google search results if somebody types in that particular keyword as well. Now, if you have kind of maybe been using Google Ads for a while yourself, or once you kind of become maybe acclimatized to Google Ads, and kind of how it all kind of works, and kind of running these search campaigns, what you can then do, and an extra kind of progression that you can take potentially, is to start running Performance Max ad campaigns. So Performance Max ads are actually adverts, or ad campaigns that you can actually run, which are AI powered, so artificial intelligence powered. And the beauty of this is, these Performance Max ads, once you kind of put in your details, it will analyze your website and other kind of online properties out there, and then it will kind of generate some adverts for you. And these generated adverts that it will actually produce for you are aimed and are in line with you meeting your goals. So these generated adverts are there to help you to achieve and reach those goals that you've set, but also doing this within your budget that you set as well, which is very important. So Performance Max ads are really, really useful to definitely kind of look into. But if you are very much starting out, you've not really run any Google Ads before, but you are considering that, then I'd say just kind of start off doing it yourself in terms of creating your own search campaign, setting your goal, bidding, going through it, testing out different kind of ad headlines and wordings as well. And then once you become a bit more kind of acclimatized, you can look at kind of the Performance Max ads, because Performance Max ads as well, they'll even kind of create things such as images and text for you as well, in line with kind of using AI to kind of help kind of drive more users towards your website. And when I say users, kind of potential customers, you can rephrase that to as well. And these kind of adverts will kind of adjust as time goes along as well, based on kind of performance. So kind of analyze things in the background as well. And obviously it's a case of we don't just kind of let performance max ads run by themselves. It's important for us to also check in on them and actually have a look at performance in general, because performance is always the main thing when it comes to advertising. See what's working and see what needs kind of altering as well, and then make adjustments off the back of that as well. We've then got kind of the third place where we can kind of have visibility on Google, which is through a Google Business Profile. And by having a Google Business Profile set up, we can appear both on Google search results, but also on Google Map results as well. So you can see that here in action. This is kind of on a mobile view with the phone, and then you can also see kind of the Google Business Profile appearing on Google Maps as well. So we're able to increase our footprint and visibility through that as well. And you can see we've got all these kind of different factors here at play with Google Maps, such as kind of the address, the star ratings, all these kind of factors that we explored earlier on when we went through that kind of that pizza near me exercise as well. So if you haven't yet set up a Google Business Profile, you can do so at no charge. And this is kind of the 4-step approach of getting that done. So you get yourself set up on business.google.com, add or select your business, enter information, and then verify your business. And then once you've done that, you can add in crucial information, such as opening hours. So you can even add in opening hours for maybe if you're going away on holiday in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, you can actually put in advance on your business profile that you are away or you're closed or whatever it might be, or kind of programming any certain special kind of holidays that your country celebrates where everybody or most businesses are closed. You can actually type that in as well. And that's something which we can update as time goes along. So again, with our Google Business Profile, it's not a set and forget approach. It's a case of constantly updating this as often as possible. Adding photos to attract visitors. I know we spoke about this earlier on. That kind of really grabs my attention. I'm sure it grabs your attention when you're looking at these different business profiles, but also refreshing these photos, because I've definitely come across certain restaurant business profiles whereby they've got photos from like 8 years ago and they've not updated it. They've not added a more recent photo on there at all. And that's something which for me as a potential diner of that restaurant, that kind of puts me off, because I don't really know what to expect when I go into the restaurant, because I've been doing my research, but there's not an updated photo there. So that's something to consider there as well. Also look to kind of encourage reviews. And reviews, remember, is one of those kind of factors where we're kind of we're able to kind of make the decisions and hopefully maybe get out of that messy middle and go ahead and purchase maybe. And that kind of influencing factor could well have been just the review factor as well. That kind of sways us in that direction as well. We can also turn on chat as well, chat functionality, so people can kind of drop us messages or have certain queries. I know I've done this before I've kind of made a table reservation somewhere. I've kind of asked a couple of questions about kind of dietary requirements and kind of other factors before I go ahead and actually make the reservation. It can be a really great way to build up a rapport and dialogue with your customer or potential customer as well. And a feature for me that is still very underutilized by many businesses out there is the posts feature, which is in the updates tab. So you're able to actually upload posts just similarly how you would maybe if you have a social media presence. You can upload a post or something like a photo with a caption underneath. And kind of maybe you can incorporate this within your own social media posting workflow. And what this does, it just kind of keeps your Google Business Profile updated and active to say, right, yeah, we're still about, yeah, we've got this promotion, we've got this offer that's going on this week as well. And it allows for you to kind of just to constantly kind of let people know what you are doing as well. And it's an extra place for you to kind of be found as well. Now, with all of this, with a Google Business Profile, we want to monitor how well we're performing at the end of it as well. Even though it's a profile that we can set up at no charge, we want to monitor what's working, what's not, and how we can make improvements. And we can actually check that through the Insights section, which is actually built into the Google Business Profile platform, which you can check. So you can see some of these graphs and charts. So we can see how people are finding us, whether it be through kind of directly finding us through our business's name or through discovery. If people are typing in pizza restaurant in London and then somebody's clicking onto me, you can see kind of how many are finding you through these various searches. You can also see kind of the customer actions, as you can see with the graph here. So how many people are visiting your site, how many clicking on that word website button, and then going through, how many people are clicking on the road sign icon to request directions for the likes of kind of Google Maps to find you, how many people are clicking on the telephone icon to go ahead and call you as an organization as well. We can monitor this, but it's all good and well, again, looking at all this information data, but we want to interpret it. We want to make adjustments and improvements off the back of that in general as well. Now, the fourth and final place in which we can actually have a presence across on Google is through Google Shopping, which is kind of the last part that I want to just kind of talk through. So you can see here, Google Shopping displays your products to shoppers online as they compare and shop for products. So this is very much catching those potential customers in the messy middle phase when they are looking for all these kind of different factors, and price comes into play as well, because many of us do compare prices and see if we can kind of get it cheaper at a certain retailer perhaps as well. And that's where Google Shopping comes into its own here as well. So when it comes to setting up a presence with our products that will appear on Google, we can do so by making sure that our products go into the Google Merchant Center. So Google Merchant Center allows us to upload our products. And once we upload our products into Google Merchant Center, they can be visible on Google search through the shopping ads, and might appear kind of on the first page, as we saw earlier on. They can also appear within kind of Google Maps, so maybe through kind of the likes of kind of adverts perhaps as well. And similarly, across on YouTube as well. So things such as kind of the Google shopping ads that might appear on and across on YouTube as well. So Google Merchant Center, how does it work? So with Google Merchant Center, step one is adding in your products. Now, when it comes to adding in your products, a lot of the time-consuming work of uploading a product, kind of the image, the description, the price, etc., all of that information. If you currently use various kind of e-commerce platforms out there, such as the likes of BigCommerce or Shopify, then this a lot of the times can actually be an autonomous process. You can do this automatically of connecting your Google Merchant Center account together with your Shopify store, for example, as well. And that just kind of that just helps, because once the two are kind of connected and kind of talking to each other, Google Merchant Center kind of pull things such as product information like images or technical specifications, rather than you have to kind of manually upload yourself perhaps as well. Now, you've also got kind of step two here of how Merchant Center works. So your products would then appear on kind of the shopping tab, and they will appear on kind of Google websites and apps as well. And then you've also got kind of the third and final step, which hopefully we want people to do, which is that customers will click on our kind of products specifically to go ahead and purchase. So they'll be kind of taken through to our specific product page, so that we can go ahead and buy as well. So in terms of kind of Merchant Center, there is also an ability now to automate, and we can automate certain factors with Google Merchant Center Next. So in the past, kind of merchants, so you could be maybe a merchant if you are if you kind of want to sell your products online. So merchants were kind of setting themselves up on Google for the very first time, and on Merchant Center for the very first time, had to manually add the products in, something I was speaking about a moment or so ago. So things such as kind of the products, the price of the images, descriptions, all these kind of factors. However, now with Google Merchant Center Next, this can all be kind of done autonomously through Google Merchant Center Next, just reading your website and actually understanding it and actually pulling through products. So you can see here, we've got a total product list here of 500. So that's quite a long list, and it's all kind of consolidated. So you've got visibility. So is it visible? The status of it has been approved? The image, the pricing as well, the availability of that particular product as well. And it's also got things such as kind of click potential that we can look into as well. And then for me, this is probably one of the most important sections of Google Merchant Center Next, which is the performance tab. And I'm sure some of you have kind of hopefully got the gist throughout the course of this this session that it's important to continually measure your performance, see how well you're doing, because off the back of that, you can make educated marketing decisions to kind of head in certain directions off the back of that as well. So that's something to kind of explore when it comes to Google Merchant Center Next. And as I mentioned, definitely recommend the performance tab to kind of look into as well. Now, something that can maybe set us apart from the competition or others within our industry in general is that we can maybe look to become a local, a trusted local professional. And the way that we can do that is by getting that kind of that Google guaranteed badge that you can see here with the image here on screen. And this is by us being able to run local service ads. So the way that we can do that is we can sign up as a service provider. We don't even need a website in order to use these adverts. But as long as we kind of sign up as a service provider, so whether it be something like an electrician or a plumber, for instance, we can then set our budget. How much do we want to spend on adverts as well? And then we want to kind of start going ahead and actually running our adverts on Google. And the beauty of running adverts as well is that depending on kind of our budget as well, we can actually pause adverts. And this is really useful, especially if you are those out there who are kind of a local professional, like these adverts kind of suggest, such as maybe a plumber, electrician, etc., or locksmith. But in order to actually kind of really utilize this, is something to bear in mind is, all right, do I have a budget? If I don't have a budget, that's fine, but it's something to be aware of. Maybe in the future for you to possibly consider, because that's a great way to kind of make you stand out from the crowd in general as well, by having something like the Google Guarantee badge beside your business's name there as well. And with these adverts as well, you can actually pause them anytime. So if you want to kind of pause them, if you are kind of fully booked up as a local service provider, then yeah, you can pause it, say, yeah, I physically can't even take any more bookings right now. That's fine. Or if you're kind of heading away and you are that one person that runs the whole business, then you can again pause your advert so you're not getting kind of inquiries coming through as well. So that's kind of a few things just to kind of be aware of there as well. So that's something to kind of that's very much something to kind of add in there as well. So with any kind of pause question, I believe we are kind of running a little bit kind of short on time with that. So if you do have any kind of questions, feel free to kind of jump back onto kind of onto other sessions that we might be running in the future. You might also want to kind of check out Google Mentoring, which is a fantastic tool. So that if you are based in the UK, you can take advantage of Google Mentoring, where you're able to get up to 1 hour via a video call with a Google mentor and kind of talk through some maybe digital skill supports that you might require for your business as well. So this is, and the only requirement to sign up for Google Mentoring is that you are a business, or you work for a business and or charity based in the UK as well. So be sure to kind of check out Google Mentoring if you've got any kind of further questions. But it seems like we've kind of condensed a lot of information, I guess the hour that we've had together in general as well. So if I kind of roll through into our next steps for after this session. If you found this session useful, and I hope that you did, both myself and Tessa would appreciate a little bit of feedback. We've got a feedback form link, which is on screen here, also a QR code. So if you do have your smartphone handy, feel free to kind of scan that and drop us feedback so we can kind of look to maybe improve future sessions going forward as well. Be sure to also check out the fantastic resource that I mentioned at the beginning of this of this session, whereby you're able to sign up for more sessions just like these, where you're able to kind of learn a bit more about digital marketing in various different ways and on a variety of different topics. So be sure to kind of check out and kind of sign up for other sessions. Be sure to also have a look at some of the online courses. Remember, it's the fundamentals of digital marketing course, which is that one course that actually gives you a certificate at the end of that particular course, recognizing that you've completed that course as well. So be sure to check out all of those resources. If you are based in the UK as well, be sure to kind of check out the website to see when and where we have our next in-person training events, as well as part of the Google Digital Garage as well. So apart from that, I want to say a massive thank you to Tessa, who I'm sure will agree has been a wonderful chat moderator. So feel free to kind of show your appreciation down in the live chat for Tessa. And I also want to finally say thank you all for tuning into this Google Digital Garage webinar session. I hope that you got value from today. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you all again soon. So thank you. Goodbye.